Welcome back, and today we are flying out the German MiG-29G. The MiG-29G is essentially an accumulation of basically every good feature of the older MiG-29s. We have the R-73s, we have the good flight model of the 912 basically, and we actually have a little bit of a better fuel consumption while also having more thrust. Now, before your jimmies are completely rustled, the extra thrust is like 60 kilogram force. It's absolutely not noticeable. It feels like the engines are a little bit tuned. It uses less fuel, but it also has basically the same power, which is helpful because the MiG-29s absolutely drink it. They absolutely slurp that shit. So you want to make sure that you have a little bit more fuel towards the end of the game. However, the games now last so short that it really never makes much of an impact. The issue with currently is that there are so many non-flammable missiles around, AIM-9Ms, R-73s, that the games, well, you can see it ahead of you, and they're not very long. And that's mainly just due to these missiles. Everyone stays on the deck, everyone just slams into a massive head-on, and the games just don't last very long. So the fuel advantage here you don't really notice until you go into a 1v1 and you will win the fuel fight in that kind of sense. But in general, top tier is super mid right now, at least in my opinion. But this is not a rant video, this is the MiG-29G video. So we go into this dogfight, and this is why I always say you need to bunch these people up. Because if they come in desynchronized, this is what happens. You need to dodge multiple people, you get an F4S on your 6. Now we dodged the first missile, well not really, but we keep going, we're still going. And these R-73s with an HMD are absolutely fantastic. We shoot it off and you already know exactly what's gonna happen. He ends up eating shit, and then we quickly put out the fire, we repair it mid-air, and as you can tell, we are completely fine again. We then missile out these two bozos in front of us, we dodge the F-16 that's directly behind us, and we have to go back to the runway, and by the time I land, we have won on tickets, but I bailed out because it was 1v6, and I didn't think I deserved the win. MiG-29 comes in. I mean, these missiles are ridiculous. They're pretty funny to use, but they're also really annoying to go up against. Same thing with the AIM-9Ms. Just these super flare resistance missiles are very annoying to deal with. You can dodge them, of course. You can deal with them. But I just try to stay in the terrain. I try to stay in all these hills, mountains even for our Dutch people among us. And I just kind of pop up and play peekaboo. As you saw in the first clip as well, I peek up over the mountain. I kill 3 people and I just leave. Now this guy flares it. Other guy on R6. Now he is not going that fast. I need to turn into the F5. I want to help one of my teammates out here. I need to get defensive against this missile. The missile misses and now we go underneath him. We stay low to the deck. We shoot an off-bore R-73. Maybe he thinks it's not going for him. You'll see me do that quite a bit in this video. Where I just point my nose like 40 degrees to the left or right and then shoot it off. Pretend like you're shooting at someone else. And very often they'll just collect it. They just fly straight into the damn thing and it's pretty funny. But again, the main thing here is going to be the missiles. 90% of your kills will be R-73s. The R-27ERs are still fantastic, but they are still radar missiles, and the radar missiles aren't really that great at the moment because everyone just stays on the deck. You will get the occasional kill with it, but in general I carry 1 R-27 and 5 R-73s just for good measure, just so that I do have one in case I ever need it. The gun leaves a little bit to be desired. It does hit quite hard most of the time. Sometimes you get a hit like that. But in general, the gun does work quite well. And the flight performance. The flight performance is an absolute breath of fresh air. Is it better than the F-16AJ? Probably not. It definitely isn't. However, it feels a lot better than the Titanic. That is the MiG-29 SMT. That thing did get changed in the dev as well as on the live patch. Let me tell you, it's not that much better. There's only some tweaks to the fuel. It's still a boat. You're still gonna lose the raid fight to, well, F4Es. And you can't even see them. So in a full down tier, it's quite a rough plane right now. And Germany gets the better MiG-29. Now it's a step in the right direction in the sense of balancing the MiG-29 and the F-16. That is great. However, there are more planes in this matchmaker. And all the other planes kind of have to suffer with it. Every 11.3, 11.7 and some of the 12.0s as well just get completely clubbed by all of these vehicles. And I think it's a shame that you are basically forced to fly basically only the F-16 or the MiG-29. The Mirage 2000 is okay as well, but other than that, most of the planes are completely power crapped, and I think it's a shame. In the meantime, I'm showing you the range of this missile at over Mach 1 basically. They do go quite far. They don't feel as wonky as they did on release when they went live on the MiG-29 SMT. But the plane itself, I For top tier, I found quite enjoyable. You can kind of do whatever you want. It feels nice. You don't dump all your speed in a singular turn. You can somewhat sustain yourself in these longer fights. And the missile kit is fantastic. Is it the best plane in the game right now? Arguable. You don't have the most amount of kit when you compare it to something like the F-16C. The F-16C has a very good flight model. There's very good missiles. I do think that the R-73s are slightly better than it. But the F-16C having much more countermeasures and just being able to dogfight essentially everything that isn't an F-16A is absolutely incredible. I do think that these two planes are very closely matched. And it's just a bit of a shame that it has to be like this. And yes, adding the better MiG-29 to Germany might seem unfair to you, but you have to look at this in the bigger picture. This is not about nations. This is not about you getting screwed over, because if the Germans don't get anything to compete with the F-16s and stuff, then the Germans will complain. If you constantly give them the worst versions because they just imported stuff, then Germany is always going to be upset about it. I do think it's good for the total balance of like the nations, because the MiG-29 912 just wasn't really it right now with the current missile sets in the game. The R-60s were okay, but at the end of the day, we didn't need the AIM-9M or the R-73. But I'm not going to be opening Pandora's box yet again, and I keep saying that, but I do want to touch on these subjects, because I know I'm going to get comments about them, so I want to address them beforehand. The MiG-29 just flies like every other top tier right now. You want to stay on the deck, you want to basically hug mountains and try to stay unspotted. The more terrain these maps have, the better you are going to be off. If you can just break line of sight, the AIM-9 won't see you, the R-73 won't see you, and that's the best way I found in combating these missiles. I still run mixed. Some people say it's better to only run flares, and I kinda agree, but I always end up finding someone where I need the chaff for some reason, and I just need to adapt my playstyle a little bit better. I'm kinda washed nowadays when it comes to top tier. I'm trying to get back into the groove, but it's just an absolute clusterfuck right now, and I heard most people agreeing with it, most of the better players as well. They're all kind of just disappearing. There's a few of them, and they do decent still, they do fine. It's not that they are coping because they keep dying or something like that. The annoying part is that the games are just very short right now. There is no tactics involved. It's all about staying fast, staying unspotted, and just kind of flank people and try to catch them off guard. And that's the best way to find success. The only issue is if you go into a fight with multiple people, you need to be more aware of your teammates and your enemies most of the time. Because, well, very often you're gonna find yourself get slammed by a random teammate. And you see me opening the scoreboard, you see these little flags next to people's names, and they included something that's actually pretty damn good. Now, in Air RB at least, it's different for Air Arcade, Air Realistic, Ground Arcade, Ground Simulation and everything like that. I'll include it on the screen. But now, in Air Realistic, if you kill 2 opponents, you get a 35% bonus. 3 opponents is a 75% bonus. 4 plus is going to be a 100% bonus. Now these are not flat, so it's not like you're going to get double the reward with 100%. Say your bonus multiplier on your plane is 635%. If you kill 4 of them, you get 735%. So it's not as insane as you might think, but it's definitely welcome, and better grinding is always something that I, well, accept with open arms. Just be careful that they don't take something away to compensate for it. F-14 has had enough, he does dodge the missile, but then he decides to hit the second tower. Yeah, thanks for taking yourself out at least, spares me the cost of dinner. Here we go again, we are gonna be hugging the mountains and we are gonna be zipping around. And I know that this is kind of monotone, but that's how you have to fly these things. And I did try to make this video like 10 minutes long, but I thought I'll just make it a bit longer, show you more examples, just so you can have a little bit of a better feel when it comes to these planes. And if you're wondering about the roll left, aubergine, pull up and all that good stuff, the bitching Betty in your cockpit is American in the German variant. It kind of trips me off the first time I heard it. It didn't feel right. But you do get used to it, and overall, I mean, you can just turn the sound down if you really want to. I just think it adds a little bit of spice to the gameplay. The issue is that it just talks too much. At least, what they did do is they kind of turned down the frequency of it. So if you are now like pulling fully and you tap your negative elevator to manage your speed, it doesn't say over G every time that you touch the elevator key again. So that's fantastic. It's not as spammy, but it's still going to be talking to you throughout the entirety of the match basically, but you know, that's just how women are. But I can't really say that because I'm a massive yapper myself. Might have something to do with the fact that I have 3 bigger sisters. So, you know, maybe I'm basically a woman myself. Slam the F-16 out of the air and, well, you can already see what's behind us and how much blue there is. Yeah, we totally win the game. I don't think I need to really explain that one. And I'm gonna show you an example of hugging the mountain, using the terrain, using cover, playing it smart, so to speak, and the detriments of that kind of playstyle. Because the games are so short, if you mistime it by even a little bit, you're gonna end up with a bit of a rough one. Going on with the first guy, we notice him in the terrain. We are now spotted, which is a little bit unfortunate. I also break off early so that he can't shoot an AIM-7M at us, or at least if he wanted to. So we just kind of keep on flying, but I think to myself, well, I kind of needed MiG-29 gone. He's kind of among all our teammates, and I don't want him to like Beyblade around. Luckily, he instantly gets shat on, and he goes back to the hangar. So I turn around, and I'm gonna use the terrain one more time to just kind of sit here and wait for the furball to develop in front of us. Then I see the F-16 coming in, and I think that he's going to come for us. I'm going to fly like at an off angle, see if I can do something. But there's still a mountain between us, so I'm going to kind of hug it. See if I can do the peekaboo that I did at the start of the game, and maybe lob a missile over. Now it does kind of track for half a second, the missile misses, he actually does see it, and he gets shot on by someone else, which is fine with us, because I did shoot the missile off, but at least he's actually dead. And then we just leave. There's a furball going on. I'm not about to go head on with 6 AIM-9Ms. So what do? I just kind of loop around and tighten up the loop, or tighten up the knot I should say, and come in from the side / behind and see if I can catch some people off guard again. And at this point I think to myself, well, I'll probably have a bit of a good one. I see the first MiG-29, we shoot the missile off. I see the one on top, he's in the sun, the other one is on fire, so I have no use going for him. The other one gets slammed just before I hit him, and then he gets hit just before I shoot the missile off. As you can see, absolutely fantastic idea, because I was not in danger whatsoever, but I end up with no kills. If there's 1 or 2 other teammates around there that didn't interrupt me, and I don't mean this in the sense of me saying, oh, they took my kills, I'm allowed to have all the kills in the enemy game, you know, that's not what I'm doing here. It's mostly about the fact that if I time it a little bit differently, or if there's one teammate that actually gets shot down, and I come in to actually help out, then I kill like 3 guys there, which is great. But if you mistime a little bit, you end up with absolutely nothing. And nothing doesn't get you any LP, now does it? We come in here, we are mistimed. Absolutely horrible engagement. On the left is my team, but I'm not going quick enough, so I am forced to turn into these guys, so I don't give my 6 to literally all of them. So I start weaping, I start trying to accelerate away, but the F-16 really wants to kill me. And this is rough. I need to pre-flare, I don't have the most amount of them. You're gonna dodge the first one. There we go. First missile dodged. The issue is, if he has more of them, I don't have many flares left. But I need to make sure that he doesn't get close enough to use them, so I'm gonna try to pre-flare. And that's all I have. I am now completely out of flares. We need to get out of here. If he shoots it now, I can use the terrain. But he doesn't shoot it, and he actually breaks off. So we are now able to go RTB. I still have some missiles. I still have a lot of ammo and fuel. But I don't have countermeasures. And because I don't have countermeasures, I'm done. We are going back. So we refueled. We took a little bit less this time, only 20 minutes. Because it's a 2v1 versus 2 F-16Cs. This guy just bombed something as well as kill one of the AAI units. The flying ones. So I knew where he was, so I intercept him. And I'm trying to kill him as quickly as possible. So we are gonna slow down a little bit into the merge to get position. We are instantly on his 6 and with the R73 at low speed. I don't know why it went through the clouds. Normally these clouds absolutely fuck you over. But with these thick clouds that are everywhere on the map, you can very often just shoot through them. Very obnoxious, very annoying. Most people don't know either. And these two are the best examples of 1v1s that I've had. So I'm gonna be showing you them. But it's mostly about the terrain and making sure that they can't get a lock on you. Now I still have basically full countermeasures. I only have flares this time because it was a 2v1. And I knew that they probably wouldn't be able to radar missile me. So I'm gonna be up against a lot of AIM-9Ms. I'm not sure why he got spotted. But I knew where he was from the RWR. So I'm just kind of using this mountain yet again to make sure that he can't close in on us. I do not want to deal with the AIM-9M. I do not want to deal with the F-16 flight model. I want to just kind of cut into him. We are again slowing down, this time preemptively behind the mountain, so he couldn't even tell if we were. And yet again, we instantly cut into him. We get behind him. We shoot off the missile. He's gonna try to outrun it. Something fell off my plane just now. That was the fuel tank. Don't worry about it. And I managed to get a hit with it. And now I'm on a 6, and he can't really do anything at this point. Because if he tries to reverse me, I get on his 6, and the F-16 isn't particularly fantastic when it comes to the defensive posture. It's good at it, but the MiG-29 riding your ass, you're not gonna have a very great time. So he probably tries to run back to the airfield, at least that's where he is heading. But he's not fast enough, we have enough position, and we just have too many R-73s for him to actually run away from us. So we are just gonna sling it at him until he dies. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you all for watching, and you'll see me tomorrow with probably the aardvark.